I was shocked to see AUMA Obama at the Boniface Mwangi presidential launch. There are people, especially because of her brother, there are people who are not supposed to show partisan politics. It is okay from the Obama family that since time immemorial, they have been associated with the human rights things. But I do believe that we have so many human rights activists whom the Obama family could have associated themselves to. And the last person, in my view, is one Boniface Mwangi. Since the beginning of multi-party, Kenyans have been voting for he who sounds bitterest again about the current government. I have seen a lot of people, a lot of votes have been affected by somebody who presents himself or herself to be very bitter about the current government, to be the biggest victim of the current government. That one has happened since multi-party started. We have always sided with him who has been harassed by the government in power most. When you appear, or if indeed it is true that you have suffered most by the then government, in Kenya you get quite a good support. I can dare also say that in such a situation, such people have ended up getting foreign donor money because they have always been seen to be the harshest, the punished people by the then current government. And what do those people who get our support or who get foreign donor aid because of whatever they have suffered, what do they do after giving the government a run for its money or even winning the election? After the results are out, a new government has been sworn in. When the new government has been sworn in, either the harshest critics of the former government are in the new government, where they start doing exactly what they were complaining about, or if the people we support because of what they have suffered from the outgoing government, after giving them a run for their money, what do they do next? What they do next is as follows. In 1992, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga had a handshake with Moi. If you remember very well, the handshake that Jaramogi had with Moi, Raila said that it was a handshake between two old men, that anybody else would not recognize it, if you can remember that. That was 1992. In 1997, Raila started what was cooperation, whatever, between NDP and KANU. It ended in Raila being sold the Kisumu molasses for a song. The amount that he paid for Kisumu molasses plant was a fraction of the market price. So that was 1997. 2002, there was the MOU support that Raila just had that support, that campaign, because he knew that if you check the mailbox of the Daily Nation in December 1999, you'll see that when Raila was the Minister for Energy, he went to Paris, and when he went to Paris, he said that he preferred the French type of government. And in one of the what do you call the Daily Nation, one of the mailbox, you can, those are only 31 newspapers, isn't it? You can check, you'll find that I wrote and said that Raila wants a type of a government that the French type of government, where the president goes around campaigning. Once he has been elected, he goes to the palace or the state house and gives somebody else the government to run. And that was 1999. 2002, Raila supported Kibaki under the MOU. The MOU was to say that once Kibaki has been elected as the president, then he hands over the whole government to Raila to run. That is the French type of constitution. If you have time, you can type at the YouTube up there, say JI-TENGE, French type of government, and you'll see how it works. So from 97, we have gone to 2002. From 2002, we have seen nusu mkate, whereby they were playing for our sympathy. Those who were elected in 2013, Uhuru Ruto government, they were elected because of the sympathy. They played the victim. They played the victim of ICC, and that is why they were elected. 2017, there was a few people call it that Raila was given a handshake. And 2022, I will never allow Ruto, before he was elected in 2022, he said, I will never allow my deputy to go through what I went through. So what I want to say is that AUMA Obama appears to have fallen victim of such tricks, because Mwangi is doing that, and unlikely in the unlikely event that Mwangi becomes the president, because once in a million he can never be a president of Kenya. But in the unlikely circumstance of him becoming the president, he will just do exactly what has been done to him. Remember, the first executive order Ruto made upon being sworn in was to have the police have their own AIE. You can now see how the police are now. Anyway, that is a story for another day. So you may have to watch some of my past videos on this channel where I've said that I may not vote for you may have noticed in other videos I've said that I may not vote for the presidential ballot. I'll just return it on blank. But I may vote for the other positions. If you have watched my other videos, you may have come across that. But I want to ask myself loudly for you to hear. How comes that every time a Kikuyu becomes the president, it is a Luo who is the one who is the first to propose that Kikuyu? When Brigadier Hadi informed Jaramogi Oginga Odinga of his selection, Jaramogi refused to take over as the prime minister and said that Jomo Kenyatta was like a second god. So, who pushed Jomo Kenyatta's to the forefront? It was Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, a Luo. If it were me, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga should have accepted to be the first prime minister, and his first executive order would have been to release Jomo Kenyatta. He did not. That was the first Kikuyu president, isn't it? Then there is The second Kikuyu president, that was Kibaki. I'm sure you remember Kibaki Tosha. It was Raila who said something like Kibaki Tosha. Actually, he did not say Kibaki Tosha. If you watch the video, he said, si mnamuona na si anatosha. By the way, it means the same, isn't it? But we have to put the exact words. Now it is AUMA saying that she supports Mwangi of all the people. Just imagine. Does Mwangi have a degree? Because what I know is for you to contest, even to be a member of the National Assembly, you have to have a degree. And maybe he has. What I know is Mwangi was a photographer with one of the media houses up to 2007. So if he has taken a degree, and if he has taken a degree, we have Sonko with a degree. We also know about Sakaja with his degree. I hope you are getting the story. Or he wants the IBC to reject him for lack of a degree and then make noise about it. We don't want a Martin Shikuku type of a president. Somebody who is, there was even a joke one time that if Martin Shikuku was to be the president and the people started demonstrating, he would also, for high prices of things, he would also take a placard and said, Vitu bei zimeenda juu. Can somebody, anybody tell me what Mwangi's stand is on the following things, among others? What is his stand on education? What is his stand on health? Do we know that? I don't remember. To me, Kenya is committing suicide using kerosene, and AUMA Obama is suggesting that we replace kerosene with petrol. It was unwise for her to use Luo language in such a forum. We used to have tribalism in Kenya. We don't want to go back. Still on the point of her using Luoism, she said in English that Luo were so much educated that if you threw a stone, you would hit a professor's. That is a lie. My age mate, don't cheat young people. It used to be said that game Yala in Siaya is where there are so many professors. It used to be said that time when in the whole of East Africa we had only 4 universities. We had a Makerere, Dar es Salaam, Nairobi University, and Baraton University in Eldoret. Is it Eldoret or Kapsabet? We had only 4 universities. But it was said that in game, there were only 2 places in Kenya that those days, and I want anybody to correct me, especially go to an elder, somebody in mid-60s and above, ask them. They'll say that it is in game Yala when we had professors and Karatina. There were only 2 places in Kenya where we had so many professors. They were Karatina and Game Yala. That is why in Karatina, if you ask any Kikuyu, he'll tell you that there is a saying that Madera mage domo, Madera mage domo. If you translate Madera mage domo into English or Swahili, you say Madera pahali pa masomo. Madera pahali pa masomo. Or Madera, a place for educated people. That is where, if you go to Madera, you'll find that there are so many professors who are there in the 60s. There are so many professors who are there in the 60s and 70s, at a time when we had only 4 universities in East Africa. And Game was so much educated that there was a chief People from game can tell us that there were chiefs in the game who, there was a chief in the game who, whenever he used to walk around and find a boy, those days, girls, it was not compulsory for education. If this chief went out and found a boy looking after cattle, he would call the father to that boy to a baraza, and he would whip that father to the boy. It is said that at that time, because of the embarrassment of you being beaten before women and children, you are told to lie down like a primary school kid, and you are beaten, given strokes by that chief of game yala. To avoid that, you'd rather you yourself look after your cattle and your boys would go to school. So, AUMA Obama was wrong to cheat that Luo land. Let me ask you, mention prominent educationists who are Luos in the 70s and 80s and ask where they come from. They come from Game Yala. Okay, Siaya they spread a bit, but this epicenter is Game Yala. But trying to expand that and saying that it was in all Luo land. Tomboya was a form too. Akwin Kothek, the first black African to have a licensing, to have a license to practice law in Kenya. Arkwin Kothek, the one whom the road is named after and who died at Yaya Center, was from Game Yala. So taking things, it's just like Kikuyus, just like Kikuyus. The Moranga people wanted to run shops, and Madera people wanted education. So you find a Moranga person saying, "Iswe tumete masera mage somo." Education in Kikuyu land was in Madera, and education in Luo land was in Game Yala, Siaya. Those are the places where you are warned not to throw stones, it will land on a professor's compound. That is the record. Now, let us go back to what we are talking. Today, we have corruption. Let us fight corruption, but let us not go back to tribalism. AUMA is going back to tribalism. She's saying Luos, we Luos. She's saying, uh, instead of talking things that are Kenyan, there is nobody who applied to be a Luo. We may lose focus and we will have too many wars to fight if we talk tribalism. What many people don't know is that burying a national flag is treason. In many countries, you face a firing squad. You may have noticed that in some countries, especially Arab countries, whenever they have demonstrations, they ban the Israel and the US flag. Burying a flag is the same as banning a flag, and it is treason. Boniface Mwangi should be told one thing. There is a difference between the country of Kenya and the government of Kenya. You may not agree with the government of Kenya. I have said so. I have said that if things continue the way they are continuing, I'll vote for MCA, I'll vote for MNA, I'll vote for the women rep, I'll vote for the governor, I'll vote for the senator. But most likely, my presidential vote will be a spoiled vote. That is the way I'm trying to tell people that I don't agree with the current government. But there is a difference between the current or even past governments with the country. The flag, the national flag, is for the country. Boniface, Mwangi, and others were born when the flag that was there. Me, I was born before. Me and AUMA, we were born before independence. So Boniface Mwangi found that flag. Even if he's to be the president, in the unlikely chance of him becoming the president, he will find that flag and he will still leave that flag. It is very few countries change their flags. One of them is DRC. One of them is DRC. But flags are maintained forever. So banning a flag, burying a flag, is that you have identified the country. And that is why I've said Arabs have been banning the American and the Jewish flags because they don't recognize them. The country, according to Arabs, whoever is elected as the prime minister of Israel, or whoever is elected as the president of the USA, whoever is elected as the president of USA or the prime minister of Israel, whoever is elected as prime minister of Israel, it does not matter. They don't recognize the state. They don't recognize the state. So even if an angel is elected as the president of USA or prime minister of Israel, Arabs don't recognize it. So that is why they target the flag. Now, for Mwangi to target the flag, he targets the country, and his beef is with the government. I remember once on live TV, he poured some ink on Charles Owino's police uniform on camera. When Charles Owino asked him why he was pouring colored ink on his uniform, Mwangi said that that is not Owino's clothes, but that is taxpayers' uniform. This is our uniform. We pay for it. We do that. I think that is too low. That is too low. But what I know is that because if it were me, by the way, I'm a former police inspector. If it were me, hakuna mambo ya camera, I would have slapped him and I would have beaten him. But that is Boniface Mwangi for you. He provokes people, then he plays the victim. I would want anybody who plays the victim to come out. The Bible says, Jesus said that whoever has never sinned be the first to throw the stone. Shortly before he was arrested in Tanzania, there was this scene in a hotel lobby. You can obviously see him provoking the Tanzanian security personnel. I saw, you can obviously see him provoking the Tanzanian cops. They later came to him. We cannot, okay, if it is true that he underwent whatever he said to have undergone, we can never condemn that enough. It is really very bad. But then the question here is, and the question will always be, did they target a completely innocent person? If he was completely innocent person, like the Ugandan lady who was completely innocent, if he was completely innocent like the Ugandan lady, then we can talk. Now let us go to Boniface Mwangi's launch of his presidential clip. I mean the video clip. I saw the FBI. I don't know if they were part of Mwangi's campaign or they attended as an observer or brothers in strength. The biggest problem in Kenya is we vote for whoever wails the loudest as a victim. We vote for somebody who wails loudest as a victim. That is the person we usually sympathize with. And then what does he do upon being sworn in? You saw, well, let us start with, many of you may have been very young, may not have been born when Moi took over from Jomo. But after Moi taking over from Jomo, he used to be a victim of, what do you call, the state. There's a name I'm, I'm trying to look for a name, but there is those people who run the state, from the background. Those who run from the background. You remember, uh, one of the few occasions when Gachagua has gone public. I remember one time when he was still even before the impeachment. There's a time he even said that the fact that you are the president's friend does not mean that you have to give me instructions. Yeah, it's the name I was looking for, Deep State. So, Deep State had harassed Gachagua when he said that the fact that you are the president's friend does not give you authority to command me as the deputy head of state. The Deep State used to harass Moi during Kenyatta's time. What happened? He even came up with a total man. So the biggest problem we have in Kenya is to vote for whoever wails loudest as a victim of Deep State. And once that person has been taken in, he introduces his own. It's like replacing, what do you call, flying squad. Yeah, we replace flying squad with Kwekwe squad and whatever. And they do the same thing. They kill people. Lastly, AUMA Obama, due to her brother, is somehow restricted. AUMA Obama, because of her brother, she's restricted from being political partisan issues. Even Obama himself, Barack Obama, if he would not have been the president, it would have been okay for him to comment on partisan issues to Kenya. But because he's tied up by the US government, there are those things that even if you leave office, you are still tied to the office. Remember, if if you get Matiang'i, he'll tell you that whenever he's leaving Kenya, he has to report to some offices in good faith, saying that I've been called to US in this and that university where I will be lecturing. There are such things. So there's that connection that it's just like if Uhuru goes somewhere, is it Uganda or Tanzania? If Uhuru goes to Tanzania and says that he's supporting ACT Wazalendo or NCCR Mageuzi, you'll find that the government of Uganda, the government of Tanzania will send a protest note. So President Barack Obama, and by extension a person like AUMA Obama, they are very careful when they talk of things which may be seen as partisan politics. I was shocked when the MC commented on AUMA's tear gas. You see, AUMA did not tell the police that she was going for the Mandaman. And I'm very sure that almost all the police officers who were on the Mandaman, if they were to meet AUMA, they would not know her. She took herself there. She never declared she was going to be there. And you see, this MC was shocked that she was tear gassed. That is where I talked about is it 2 minutes ago, where I said that people of a certain position, they are not supposed to talk partisan politics. Yes, she's not even supposed to be in such a place. And if she's not supposed to be in such a place, that is when she's not even supposed to be tear gassed. We have also a problem with the security. For example, when Raila goes to Mandamano, he has police escort and other people. Now, when they are doing Mandamano, and the police there throw tear gas. These are the police who are escorting VIPs like Raila and others. They they find themselves in an awkward position because they are countering fellow police officers. You see police officers surrounding a VIP, even when the VIP is utilizing his or her right to picketing. He or she is guarded by police, and then their fellow police tear gas them. They tear gas a fellow police officer. You get what I'm trying to say? So there are people of a certain position who are not supposed to participate. Yes, she can want to, because even her brother, Barack Obama, has a history of human rights activism. A very good student of, what do you call, a very good student of Martin Luther King. But I want to ask myself, suppose Martin Luther King woke up today, would he approve the way Boniface Mwangi is doing so? Okay, let me go to concerning AUMA's reaction. Why that she was, when she was reacting to that, she said she was going there because of her child. I know a lot of people say, who are you compared to AUMA? Oh boy, she's famous, she's whatever. But I'm a nobody, a police inspector emeritus. But let me tell you about a police constable, a woman police constable. She was sent to handle the demonstration. And she met her son, and both reacted in a very, very mature way. If I have to meet AUMA Obama, I would request her to visit that AP policewoman, constable, and her son. If AUMA was concerned that her son had a right, or her child had a right to demonstrate, with her level of education, with her level of exposure, with her level of upbringing, compare it to that police constable for the AP. She can never compare to AUMA Obama. But she went there. The mother, the AP constable woman, recognized and appreciated the importance of her adult son or her adult child to do whatever pleased him. And also, the son appreciated that his mother was there on duty, and he appreciated the mother. They knew that nature had placed them on different trajectories. Any police officer going for that mandamano should know that among those children, actually some of the victims of these mandamano are even children of chiefs, children of police officers, and so on. So any police officer uh, being given duty to perform during such an occasion should know that those kids who are, they are kids of his or her age mates. The same way, the kids who are demonstrating, the police should know that these kids are kids of his or her age mate, and they are maybe even his own kids or her own kids are there. The same goes to the children the youth who are demonstrating. You should know that the police officers who are confronting you, one of them may be your parent, or if they are not your parent, they are parents of your age mates. So in both sides, heshima lazima iwe kwa both sides. Youth should respect the adults, and the adults should respect the youth. The Gen Z believe that wisdom started and will end with them. Okay, what do we do? Just watch Yetu ni macho tu, hakuna mambo mengine. God bless you.